Tesla's dominance in one of the most important aspects of electric cars has come to an end, courtesy of the very rival that is led by the former chief engineer of the Tesla Model S. A little sweet revenge there, but does Tesla really need to be the best at everything at all times? I'll direct that question to Forbes contributor Tom Moloughney. Plus, in other electric car news, Rivian makes history, Ford is making the electric F-150s already, will count minds blown by Tesla's latest full self-driving release, and grumpy comment of the week on whether the size really does matter. Oh, and see if you can tell at what point of me taping this video I went out and got myself a haircut. All of this is coming up next. Welcome to E4 Electric. Don't forget to click on that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything moving forward. Tesla has been the undisputed electric vehicle range king with its current Model S long range with over 400 EPA rated miles. Nobody has been able to come close, and even with some newer EV models that came on the market this year, the competition is barely breaking the 300-mile range, which is great, just not Tesla great. But this week things have officially changed. It appears that Lucid Air has now taken over the crown. I hope Peter Rawlinson has been practicing doing this, and I'm sure he is all for the world peace. Lucid Air has been certified at 520 EPA miles for its Dream Edition. There are 3 other certifications for other Dream Edition versions, with the lowest range still hitting the record 451 miles. Now, I know that some of you Tesla fans are probably screaming at the screen right now and maybe even throwing things. Alex, but the Lucid Air doesn't even exist yet. It's vaporware. Well, we'll tackle that issue with Tom Moloughney, who will be here in just a few minutes, who will tell you why that's ridiculous. Ludicrous. I'm learning the native tongue. But I'll give you this. I do find it odd that Lucid promises twice delayed production any day now, but pretty much no journalist has driven the car or has seen the factory except for the Motor Trend. Motor Trend seems to get all of the first exclusive stories. They must have the P-tapes of everyone. Now, as you remember, Tesla was going to stay ahead of the game with the Model S Plaid Plus due out with over 520 miles, but then Elon said this in his statement to Electric after the Plaid Plus version got cancelled. He said, "What we are seeing is that once you have a range over 400 miles, more range doesn't really matter. There are essentially 0 trips above 400 miles where the driver doesn't need to stop for restroom, food, coffee, etc. anyway." Oh, is that what we're seeing? Didn't see it at the battery day when you were flaunting the 520-mile number, or really any time before that? I mean, everyone's peeing habits have been established by now. Just ask Motor Trend. Though still, it takes about 45 minutes to fully recharge, and it takes me only 2 minutes to pee. 3 if there's a Dyson hand dryer in the bathroom. Then I do need an extra minute to dry my pants off after the water from my hands gets blown onto my crotch. The Lucid Air battery is actually not that much bigger than Tesla's at 113 kilowatt-hour. The longer range is actually achieved, well, I'll let Lucid's CEO Peter Rawlinson explain, but before that, a quick reminder that this video is brought to you by the Climate Exchange. That's right, Tesla Raffle is back. You can win a Tesla of your choice or other cash prizes. Only 5,000 tickets will be sold, so make sure to get yours using the link in the description of this video. And even if you don't win, the money will go towards a great environmental cause. And by NeoCharge, check out the NeoCharge Smart Splitter. You can charge 2 cars at the same time without spending a ton of money rewiring your home. Get one today and use the discount code in the description of this video. Alright, here's what Peter had to say about what the key to achieving the longer range was without using a huge battery pack.
We have such an efficient system, and efficiency is key. And the efficiency has a real value beyond just creating a car today which has over 500 miles range. We can use that efficiency in other ways to reduce the costs of the system, because if you have a more efficient use of the battery energy, it's equivalent to having smaller battery pack, which is more cost effective and mass effective.
Efficiency is the key, not necessarily the battery size, something that all electric car manufacturers should pay attention to, something that Sandy Munro has been preaching for a while now. Alright, it's time to answer the big question, and a few smaller ones, for which we turn to the Forbes contributor and the host of the State of Charge YouTube channel, Tom Moloughney. Alright, Tom, so let me ask you the big question that I think all Tesla fans are asking or yelling at the screen with. Lucid Air doesn't exist, so who cares about how many EPA miles it can get?
Listen, they have it EPA certified now. That means that they have production intent cars, at least, one batch of cars that are ready for production made that got certified. They don't certify pre-production cars. They are certifying production ready vehicles, and evidently they have them ready to go.
So if you're saying that there is a production car that can be certified, since they don't certify vaporware, does that mean that deliveries might start very soon? Because most manufacturers get their EPA ratings right before the deliveries, yet, the journalists, we haven't seen the factory. We haven't done the test drives. All the things that you usually do have not happened, yet the EPA rating is in. What does that mean?
It doesn't mean a whole lot. Startups walk to their own tune. They don't do things the way all the legacy brands do. Tesla rewrote the rules. Lucid's doing things different. Rivian's doing things different. Now, I've driven in the Lucid Air already. I drove all around New York City in it, so it's not vaporware. And in 9 days, I'm invited to the Lucid factory for a factory tour and to drive the production version Lucid Air. So these things are all happening now, Alex.
All right, so now what does Tesla do? Right now, Tesla is essentially losing their, the longest range crown, but does Tesla need to be really best at everything at this point? Is it even possible? I mean, the competition is, all around. Is it really that necessary, or can they just do their own thing and have their own great fan base and go about their day like this?
So they absolutely can. Listen, Tesla has been amazing. They single-handedly dragged the entire automotive industry into making seriously good electric vehicles. Tesla deserves so much credit for that. And they've had the best electric vehicles for the last decade. But that's going to change. I think they'll always have extraordinarily good, highly competitive vehicles, but they're not going to be the best at everything forever, Alex. And now we're seeing vehicles coming to market that do certain things better than what Tesla vehicles do.
Do you think the Plaid Plus comes back? Does Elon just say, okay, we're just going to do it? Or do you think he'll be at peace with this?
Listen, if they do it, it's totally Elon's ego that would made it happen, because it's so unnecessary. I just drove for the first time a Tesla Model S, the new 2021, not Plaid, the long range. It was like face-smashingly fast. It was ridiculous. I just drove it a couple days ago. Much faster than that, it's getting ridiculous. So is it necessary? No, but does Elon have, a huge ego that wants to be the best at everything? We all know he does, so it wouldn't surprise me if he says, you know what, we've got to go back and make this thing even faster.
All right, back to my haircut and the reminder that Tom has his own YouTube channel. And if for some reason you haven't subscribed yet, I will help you out. I put a link to it in the description of this video. Before we get to the next story, let's check out the grumpy comment of the week. And this one comes from Ray NLA, who says, is that a wristwatch or a clock you're wearing? Well, to paraphrase one of the greatest philosophers of our time, Sir Mix-a-Lot, I like big clocks and I cannot lie. Plus, you know what they say about men who wear big wristwatches, right? We have a lot of time. Speaking of time, Rivian has become the very first car brand to produce a first customer-bound electric truck in North America or Europe. Their CEO, RJ Scaringe, has driven it off the production line this week, though as you probably noticed, not necessarily into the hands of an actual customer. He's probably just wandered off waiting for his truck, you know, to get some coffee or raise a child. It's been a long wait, that's all I'm saying. Rivian essentially becomes only the second automotive brand in decades to successfully bring a mass production vehicle to market in America. You gotta appreciate and respect this moment because it has taken RJ over a decade to achieve while having to pivot from the original sports car concept into the electric truck, and the moment was overwhelming.
This is incredible. I'm getting him.
Congratulations to RJ and his team. I have met him many times and I gotta tell you guys, he is an outstanding individual, and this is what makes the world go around: the innovation, hard work, and the vision. Rivian has also launched its membership program that will give Rivian owners access to free charging at its upcoming Adventure Network and other services that will be free for the first year. However, the highly anticipated and super cool feature, the tank turn, is unfortunately not ready for prime time, and Rivian doesn't really know when it will become available. I guess Rivian is not very good at, spinning in one place while not going anywhere. Maybe they should ask Lucid Motors for advice. I mean, within the regular visiting hours of the prison, of course. Rivian has also filed for an IPO earlier this month, which, if successful, will make it one of the most valuable automakers in the world. One of Rivian's investors, Ford, is not that far behind in its electric truck premiere, as the company has revealed it's making the pre-production F-150 Lightning prototypes already. The prototypes are heading out into the real world for testing, and the first customer deliveries are planned for the spring of next year. And it looks like the reservation queue for the electric F-150 has now surpassed 150,000 mark. Ford will also add $250,000 in investments to meet its new goal of 80,000 electric F-150s produced in 2024. Tesla's long-anticipated full self-driving V10 release is being pushed to Tesla's early access fleet as we speak, and Elon Musk has promised that it will be available for all full self-driving customers by the end of the month. Elon has promised that this release will blow your mind. Hopefully not by smashing into parked fire trucks, but so far those drivers who have had the access to the release, a camera, and a YouTube account, like our own Tom Moloughney, have all reported that their minds are still intact. It seems that even though the new version has many improvements, it does not have any new features or significant advances of the technology. Meanwhile, a long-term study conducted by MIT has found that using Tesla Autopilot results in quite a decrease in driver attention. Wait, you had to conduct a study by MIT to find out that when a machine does something for you, you're no longer interested in doing it yourself anymore? Haven't you ever owned a dishwasher? Though it's probably not that fair to dishwashers because, you don't have to keep your hands on the dishes and eyes on the sprayers. Elon Musk has also revealed that in order to use the new version of the full self-driving software, Tesla would have to deem you a good driver based on your last 7 days of driving. Wait, a little slow on this one again. Don't we want the bad drivers to use this software as soon as possible? I mean, that kind of makes more sense, right? I mean, it's like owning a grocery store and say, no, I'm not selling you this fat-free products until you lose some weight, for crying out loud. And it seems that even if you did pay $10,000 for the package, you may still be denied access to it if Tesla doesn't think you're ready for that kind of responsibility. And I'm not really sure if that's gonna go well with some of the Tesla crowd. Let's talk about a big moment this week when Tesla and Toyota have actually agreed on something, and I agreed with both of them, which makes it even more rare. Tesla has joined Toyota in opposing the new Union EV credit exception. If you're not up to date on this, in short, a newly proposed bill grants an extra $4,500 on top of the $7,500 in tax incentives for purchases of the electric cars made by union workers, which Tesla, Toyota, and many other automakers have chosen not to use. This comes on the heels of President Biden meeting with the head of the United Auto Workers Union and the Big Three executives. Elon Musk has taken to Twitter, his favorite place outside of Mars, to criticize the proposed bill. Granted, Elon and I have different reasons to oppose this, but from where I stand, helping consumers get into electric cars should not be tied to a political issue of things like unions. It's like, hey, we'll give you some money to buy that car, but not that one. Oh, really? What's the difference? Well, you see, that car is made by people who voted for us, and now you can have it for thousands of dollars less. And by the way, quick car buying question. Are you registered to vote? Don't forget to tune in to my subscriber hangout live stream this and every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific. I'm hoping to have another cool guest or guests. You can set a reminder if you browse to the announcement on the homepage of this channel. All right, looking forward to all of your comments. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.